Great companies generally don't sprout up overnight. Just ask the Dean family, owners of Wadsworth Controls in Arvada. Their products can be found in greenhouses across the country and have been credited with transforming the growing industry. But the seeds for this thriving company were planted years ago and have been cultivated by 3 generations.
Wadsworth Control Systems started in 1952. My grandfather started it. He was an electrician.
Back then, George Dean Sr. called it Wadsworth Electric. In 1954, his son George Dean Jr., also an electrician, joined the company. And things changed.
We morphed into the greenhouse industry because there used to be a lot of carnation growers in Colorado and particularly in Arvada. And my father started working with those people and started just putting together some simple systems at the time, but life-changing for these growers who were sleeping in their greenhouse overnight.
It happened one greenhouse at a time, starting with a project for the Spano family in the 1960s.
They just kind of said, go ahead and wire it. They didn't tell me what to do or anything else.
So George Dean looked at all the fans and heaters and vents in the greenhouse and came up with something better than just wiring them.
I looked around and I found a sequencer that I could coordinate all this equipment to where the heating and the cooling wouldn't be on at the same time, and it would hold a closer temperature and it would be just a whole lot better.
That led to another job. When
I got done, Ray Weiland says, come over and do that to my greenhouse.
And another.
And then Bob Ector said, come and do that to my greenhouse. And then pretty soon, they were doing so many greenhouses, we didn't have time to do anything else.
Today, George Dean Jr. is referred to as the pioneer of greenhouse environmental control systems.
He became famous nationwide for his systems, and he's recognized in a number of Hall of Fames. And everyone just really credits him with bringing automation to the greenhouses in North America.
These days, he's a consultant to Wadsworth Controls. Daughter Patricia is CEO and son Gary Dean is the president. Customers come in all sizes, from backyard hobby growers to nursery and garden centers like Ector's in Arvada and the greenhouses of the Denver Botanic Gardens, to high-end facilities at research and teaching facilities.
It could be a research institute for, a food manufacturer or drug research. It could be a university. It could be butterflies. I mean, it's such a broad range. Of course, commercial growers.
The company offers 3 product lines: climate controls, vent automation, and energy curtains that hold heat in at night. Those alone can save up to 40% on energy costs.
From the early 70s to where we're at now, we have done literally millions of square feet of our curtain systems throughout North America, some in Canada, and a few around the world. So the legacy of that has been impressive.
As the company has grown, it has met the needs of the changing greenhouse industry. From the carnation growing days, to retail crops and research facilities, to today's newest crop, legalized cannabis.
So, it's a different world.
Really, a lot of the states are starting to legalize the medical marijuana, but in Colorado, that's been huge. And they have a requirement for blackout for the crop.
Developing curtains to meet that need required research and expertise. Fortunately, in recent years, Wadsworth Controls sought out grants and assistance from organizations that have helped them not only with the blackout curtains, but with everything from standing up to foreign competition, to learning about lean manufacturing principles, to being able to hire highly educated engineers so they can continue to be competitive in the marketplace. They are especially proud of a new product they hope to launch in early 2015, a touchscreen controller that will be the first in the industry.
So this new control, which is appropriately named Seed, is a new beginning.
It's being developed by Dr. David Story, whose background in agricultural engineering and computer science was a perfect fit for Wadsworth Controls.
So the seed unit takes data inputs from the greenhouse, whether it's a sensor, whether it's some type of feedback from a control, and then it actuates other equipments. And so from the inputs and outputs, you can better manage a greenhouse.
The tablet design lets you swipe through all the data you could possibly need to keep a greenhouse productive.
It's exciting, a little daunting and perhaps scary, but you got to start somewhere and work up. But we are excited for that.
Wadsworth Controls has been recognized by the Arvada Economic Development Association and by the Jefferson County Economic Development Corporation for its success. With decades of progress behind them and a bright future ahead, the honors are appreciated. But George Dean Jr. says it's especially meaningful to see the family carry on the work begun years ago.
I'm very happy about that. And I'm sure my father would be very tickled to death.